If you don't know today's guest, you're missing out on arguably one of the most important coaches in combat sports. Today, I am joined by Captain America's Eric Albarracin. We got to sit down again for a second time, and Eric has become a good friend. We talk about conversations about fashion in sports, the crossover from other leagues that people like Patricio Pitbull, and other top combat sports athletes are making, hopefully into the UFC, as well as the overall state of affairs in the financial well-being of the athletes. I always love talking with Eric. He's full of knowledge and is one of the best coaches out there. The man has had over 18 world champions, people like Henry Cejudo, Davison Figueiredo, Luis Vitor Rocha, and a lot of other top athletes across many organizations. Quick apologies. The footage on today was not the best quality, but I just enjoyed the conversation so much. I really had to put it out. So please forgive the quality of the video, but hoping that everyone gets so much from this because Eric is one of the top coaches in the sport today, and we have a really fascinating conversation and looking forward to getting everyone watching this. If you are enjoying these conversations, please give me a subscribe, like, follow. Always appreciates people's feedback in the comments as well. And now, Captain America's Eric Albarracin. Let's get it.
Welcome back to Fight Capital, where we enter the ring of combat sports business here in Las Vegas, back with Captain America's Eric Albarracin, back here in Las Vegas. Captain, happy to have you back, man. You're an international man of mystery, traveling all around the world. What brought you back to Las Vegas?
Yeah, you know what? The Broad Street Global Elite Combat Athlete Tour has been wild this year. I've been so many places, and I flew in. It was a wild trip to get here. I was in Brazil, the Pitbull buzz, but you got to catch a connection in Sao Paulo. Well, Sao Paulo's system went down at the airport, and we couldn't check our bags. So I called up Minotauro Nogueira to come get my bag so I could leave it, except it was like 3 a.m. at this time. I was so glad he picked up. He's a night owl. So he picked up, he got the bag, and I had missed 3 flights already because of the system being down. And this was the last possible flight for me to arrive at 7:30 p.m. I called my boy up, Rye, get a shirt done for me so I can rock it at the UFC 310. And he picked it up for me, had it in his car. I got to the parking lot where his car was parked right outside of T-Mobile, got the shirt, come in, got the floor seats, and I got to see our boy, Pantoja, the Tough 24, Team Cejudo #1 pick. I got to see him go off on a devastating finish of Kaya Sakura from Ryzen. Kaya is an absolute beast, and I was so happy to see that because he's one of the GOATs now of the division for sure. And I even gave him a Christmas bonus for it. So the Broad Street Global Tour has been wild this weekend.
Yeah, we got to get that one posted too. Don't let that one sit on the phone, man. That was a good one. And man, tell me a little about this shirt. Everyone can't see it. We get a little close up on the camera there. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about this shirt, man, and who we got here.
Yeah, this is the UFC baddest motherfucker, Blessed. He's on this side. Max Holloway, former featherweight champion, UFC champion. And we got the Bellator GOAT, Patricio Pitbull. He's been world champion since 2014. We're coming into 2025. That is unprecedented. He's in Bellator, but, that contract could be ending soon. And a dream of his is to fight the best. And it's hard when you're in Bellator, when everybody's saying the best is somewhere else. So, he's willing to go somewhere else. And I think a 10-year, 11-year world champion a guy who's had the biggest rivalries in the history of the promotion. Probably the biggest one is Michael Chandler, 3-year rivalry running. And he knocked him out in 1 minute, 20 seconds. And another rivalry with AJ McKee. He's fought, Rachel, Sanchez, 4 quadrilogy with Daniel Strauss, 2 fights with Patrick Coran. He's had some of the biggest rivalries in the organization, and he's beaten generations, 4 different generations of fighters from, 2014 to now with AJ McKee's and the Boricks and the Jeremy Kennedys and the Aaron Picos. But that fight didn't happen. Not yet. Maybe it can happen in the future. Maybe it can happen in the UFC. You never know. But BMF versus the Bellator GOAT. Let's make it happen. That's how you give homage to somebody coming in with that kind of reputation and those kind of credentials. You throw him right up against the BMF guy, because we just did it with Kai Asakura, and he wins that BMF belt, and now everybody's got to come to him. And for a legend, that's how you treat a legend like that, because now the legends want to come fight him. The Dustin Poiriers, the Justin Gaethjes, the Jose Aldos, that fight. Everybody in Brazil that's like Anderson versus Vitor, that fight with Patricio Pitbull versus Jose Aldo. For years, they were champions together, and everybody would wonder what would happen if they fought. Well, let's find out. And then last but not least, I've always said it, we've had Pitbull brothers with a rivalry with SBG, and that Pitbull, that's why he chose Pedro Carvalho in the $1 million tournament first round to go after SBG and to beat everybody. Patricio beat Peter Queally for the world title, and just Leandro just beat James Gallagher, one of the best featherweights in the world. So, we're undefeated against SBG, and it's time for the general to come stop the bleeding and save his fighters. And that's when Patricio Pitbull and Conor McGregor, champs, fight each other. Conor McGregor was supposed to fight Michael Chandler. It didn't happen, hasn't happened. And Patricio Pitbull knocked out Michael Chandler in 1:20, so that makes sense for that fight. There's a lot of options for Patricio Pitbull in the UFC. There's no better time than now. He's 37 years old. Yes, he's in the twilight of his career, but I've made sure since he was 30 that he never always trains, and we try to minimize the injuries. He did have a huge neck injury, but he got that fixed right after his that fight in Ryzen. So he had a real bad neck against Sergio as well. We were going to get surgery right after that, but then he took a short notice fight out of his weight class at 155 in Ryzen. So since then, we did get it fixed. And now he's 100%. He's a Bio-X man. So, he heals fast.
I mean, almost on cue, too. Dana got asked the question, and he said, yeah, man, there seems to be that issue in a few leagues right now, and he would want to see those people like Patricio in the league as well. But you mentioned Bio-Accelerator. You've been traveling all around the world. I mean, last time you were here, you were off in Singapore at Karate Combat. Then you're in Denmark. Then you're back.
Dominance MMA with Mark Madsen.
Dominance. Shout out to Mark Madsen, Dominance MMA in Denmark, and they're upstart. They're doing some great stuff out there too. But talk to me a little bit about that trip to Colombia. I see you looking slim, looking young, man. It looks like a new man just a couple months later. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, welcome to the newest Bio-X man. I went down to Colombia with Bio-Accelerator for regenerative stem cell therapy. And, man, I couldn't feel better. I feel revitalized, reborn. It's like the fountain of youth. I'm looking slim. I got the new fashion, one Monarchy's always suiting and booting me. And yeah, I feel great. I haven't felt this great. I feel like I'm, 25 years younger. And so Bioaccelerator in Colombia is the fountain of youth, and I'm glad I went. I also went down with Luis Vitor Rocha, karate combat world champion, longest reigning, and the Brazilian James Bond. And he also is now a BioX man. You know, he was supposed to fight Shahid. Did I say that right? From Pakistan, from karate combat, but he ended up tearing his knee. So I was like, well, we don't have time to get surgery. We got to, and I don't like throwing my athletes under the knife anymore. I'd rather just go down to Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, and get bioaccelerators, some golden stem cells, and boom, you're back. So he's back training. He's looking good as ever, and look for another BioX fan to come back and defend his throne.
And then when talking about looking good, you really show up looking fresh. We were about to go hit the store beforehand. I mean, talk a little bit about how you see fashion in MMA and the importance of it and kind of where you're at today with it and where you see the future of it going.
Yeah, man, the future is unlimited when it comes to fashion. And for me, at least, I think it's MMA is the fastest growing sport in the world. And, the MMA just changed the world if you think about it with, MMA help change the vote for Donald Trump. And even Dana White gave the victory speech. The president of the UFC gave the victory speech for the most powerful man in the world. And that's huge. And our fashion in MMA should reflect how big the sport of MMA is. And I'm proud to be at the helm of that as one of the coaches that takes fashion seriously. And big inspiration is Philipp Plein. Philipp Plein is a huge style inspiration for me. And, I've been giving them shout outs since about 5 years, right? When COVID first started, I remember we were fighting every month in the Bellator tournaments. And I think it was BC, Brian Campbell, and Luke Thomas. We were doing interviews with them, and every time I came in, they're like, the best dressed coach in MMA. Look at this guy. Who is he? Elton John. What's going on over here? And I would give shout outs to my inspiration, Philipp Plein. And man, I'll tell you what, I was so excited when he made that crossover to the dark side, because only a couple of UFCs ago, he sponsored Kai Borralho,
Hey everyone, quick favor to ask. Did you know that nearly 80% of the people tuning in right now aren't subscribed yet? That subscribe button down below is what powers me every week to keep putting out these podcasts. Big shout out and thank you to everyone that's been supporting me for this. I couldn't do it without you. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe below. It means the world to me. And for everyone supporting me, thank you so much. Now back to the show.
And he suited and booted Cal Borralho, and I was so happy to see that, because I consider them like the Gucci's, the Dolce Gabbanas, and maybe now even with him being involved with MMA, I even put him ahead of them now. So, Philipp Plein is that style that it's bold, and that's kind of what you have to be as a fighter, is to be bold and energetic, and that's kind of what Philipp Plein is. So I'm real happy to see that they finally made that crossover, and I kind of feel like I was part of it. I've always dressed with that bold, bright style.
And then it pops, and Philip, you're hearing this, get this man the sponsorship. who no one better represents for sure. Now, I mean, Coach, I know you got to get on a plane and get going. What's next?
Man, you know what? Soon we have a karate combat. I have Luis Vitor Rocha, Stephanie Oliveira, Erica Santos. Those Stephanie and Luis are karate combat world champions, so they're gonna have fights early coming up next year. Patchy Mix versus Leandro Alter Ego. Bellator has canceled some shows, but that doesn't cancel reality. Leandro Ego's coming for that belt, and third time's a charm. So expect Leandro Ego to do some big things, and then Patricio Pitbull. We talked about it. So the Pitbull brothers is really doing well down there in Natal. I call it Natalstan because we got the Broad Street Global House down there. The elite combat athletes. We brought in guys from Colombia with John Wick Tasha. The Macho Man from Kazakhstan, the Idris Savage brothers. And we had guys from Russia down there with Alex Ivashkin, Mongolian with Temu. So we've had a few different countries I'm looking to bring. Right now, Tracy Cortez and Genesis Cejudo is down there, just actually moved houses into a place called now Sports Park. And so the whole area has like tennis courts and squash courts and Olympic swimming pools, jiu-jitsu mats, and obviously soccer, a place to play soccer or football down there. So, it's in Ponta Negra, right by the beach. So, some of the best fighters are coming down there to be able to train with the legends like the King of Knockouts, Patricio, and Leandro, and Patricio Pitbull, the Bellator GOAT, the Karate Combat World Champion. So a lot of people are coming down to train with them, and we've helped build the new generation. And that's the idea, to give the opportunities to the new generation. And then, when they come super famous and they start making that money, like some of these fighters are starting to really cash in, they should be looking to invest smart. And that's Broad Street Global, the private equity fund, and everything they touch turns to gold. They're like alchemists. So I'm proud to be share brand recognition with them.
An amazing job they're doing, supporting the athletes, supporting you, helping taking everyone's career to the next level. Oh, Capt, I know we got to get you on a plane, get you out of Tampa, UFC.
UFC Tampa, we got Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, by the time you see this, he should be fighting for the title. This should be a title eliminator fight. He's fighting Manel Capt. And, both those guys are absolute killers in the UFC flyweight division, one of the most exciting divisions in the game. So, Bruno's on a 4-fight winning streak, 4 performance of the night's bonuses. So I think if he can get a finish of Manel Capt, for sure, a performance of the night bonus, and he gets that title shot. And so, that'll be huge. I'm getting ready to head down there and hopefully put another Christmas bonus, boom, in his hands for a win.
So that athletes keep winning, they keep getting paid, and I love to see that. Well, Captain Americas, thank you so much, man. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you for having me, and shout out for saving the UFC 310 for me. For getting the shirt and everything with my luggage and all that.
Well, looking forward to seeing you back, man.
Thank you.